Welcome, my name is Sergio Gore. I'm with Americans for Limited Government, and this is our first monthly event for NetRight Nation. Uh, for those of you that don't know what NetRight Nation does is, when you need to find something, you go on Google. When you need to find a blog, you go on NetRight Nation. We got 74,000 aggregated blogs that sign up with us that we syndicate articles on a daily basis. So if you're not signed up or if we don't have your email, please do sign up. If you guys have any questions, we got plenty of staff here. And without further ado, Andrew Breitbart.
Thank you. I just came in from Los Angeles. And the first face I saw when I walked into an Americans for Limited Government event was Russ Feingold. He was at the door. I just kind of like that irony. Seems like a reasonable looking man. Anyway, why am I here? Americans for Limited Government. I'm just an LA guy. I've kind of found my niche over the last few months. I started my Washington Times column, at least as a voice. I mean, as a syndicator of content. It's just the Associated Press, Reuters, and AFP. Nothing to get excited about. But I've kind of found my niche out there in Los Angeles when Barack Obama won, not because of a series of ideas that he offered the the American people. He offered popular culture. He had the weight and the tidal wave of popular culture behind him. It was David Geffen and Oprah Winfrey who stole the thunder from Hillary Clinton, who was the candidate fait accompli, until Oprah Winfrey said, no, that's not how it's going to be. She actually reached out to her top celebrity talent like George Clooney, Matt Damon, Jennifer Aniston, and met with Barack Obama. And the next thing you know, she supports a guy who said a year before that he would never run for the presidency because he said he'd never apply for a job that he wasn't, skilled enough in doing. And so when Oprah Winfrey comes to you and says, I have no desire to take all this power that I've accumulated over the last 20 years to run myself. I don't think that her private life could handle the scrutiny, nor do I think that she's that well versed in the issues. When she was able to find her proxy in Barack Obama, and she was able to bring all of her heavy hitters behind her, and not just the names and the endorsements, but just sort of the pop culture savvy that she was able to bring to it. And that's why I think they took it to the next level with that Invesco thing in Denver, is that they said, hey, look, this is how the majority of the people relate to the political process, is at the pop cultural level. Bill Clinton did it in 1992 by going on the Arsenio Hall show and the Jay Leno show, and that's how he was able to kind of circumvent the system by becoming approachable. My message to the conservative movement and to those in the Republican Party that will listen is that I just came here 2 weeks ago. I've never done that before, and I met with congressmen, and they're all dressed like Ronald Reagan. It's like a drag show. And I'm like, I mean, I love Ronald Reagan, but Ronald Reagan dressed like Ronald Reagan did in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and the 80s. He dressed with the times. I come to D.C., and everybody's dressed like Ronald Reagan and Lee Atwater dressed in the 1980s. And it's kind of a weird experience for an LA guy. Go, take off your tie, go on television and look like a Hollywood executive when you tell us your opinions, because the average person out there has a strong antipathy towards conservatives. The Jon Stewarts of the world, the Bill Maher's of the world have done everything they can to portray conservatives as uptight people. So we shouldn't deliver for them that caricature. So that's one of the messages I took to these congressmen. I said, take your tie off, look like you're comfortable in your own skin and talk in your own pop culture. The one guy who kind of got it, and now I'm like email buddies with, and I'm sure there's something corrupt about now being friends with a congressman and trying to persuade him to do things that benefit me and my family financially. And it's probably not the right thing to do, but it was Congressman Thaddeus McCotter, and I have a man crush on this fella. He's the funniest guy I've ever met in my entire life, and I left his office, and he sent me an email I don't know him that well, but the subject of the email was "dude," and the body of the email said, "Were you baked in my office?" I think it's a California thing. And now he just has kind of, narrowed it down to he just calls me Bong Boy. So I asked him, is it okay if I mention that when I go on the Dennis Miller show, that a congressman who kind of is known for his knowledge of the founding fathers and the Constitution, he's just kind of a serious guy, calls me Bong Boy, and asked if I was baked, and he said, oh yeah, you can do that. Our current president has admitted to doing cocaine. I'm just admitting I know what the term means. So anyway, I really think that the only way that the conservative movement is going to, people that want limited government, the only way we're ever going to be able to sell that idea is if we learn that the media is the message, that we have to start communicating in a way that Jon Stewart and the Bill Maher's of the world, that we're either countering them or creating a counter movement. Hollywood for the last 40 years has been controlled by the left, and I'm here to tell you that there are a lot of conservatives out there, more than you could possibly imagine, and 40 years is too long for there not to be a counter-revolution. And I think that Hollywood is the place, believe it or not, where I think it's going to happen. These people are raring to go. I just wanted to come here to tell you that they exist. You wouldn't believe it. I'm going to end on this note. You wouldn't believe this. And the cockiness that I have coming in here is that I know of hundreds, if not thousands of people who are in Hollywood that you would recognize their names, whether they be directors, writers, or actors. And these people have to stay silent because I think you know what it's like.